y'all doing?
All right, guys, we got Javon Bennett and Shane Montgomery for you.
Javon, what was the difference tonight in your mind in this game?
No, I think we did a great job. I think at half we had one possession. They had a one possession lead, and I think we fought. They had size and talent, and I think we did a good job. But in those type of games, one missed shot, one rebound, one turnover can make a difference.
Shane, I know you watched the last game at home. You were sick. How do you take any consolation from this being a closer game?
I mean, I feel like the difference was like we had more energy today, like on both sides, defensively and offensively. I say prepping too was more locked in.
Javon, you guys, right on the cusp of tying that game a couple times late in the game. Did you feel like the home crowd was going to pull you through?
Yeah, no, we know this is going to be the last home game of the season, so we did it for them. But like I said, we fought and they played great, and I think we played great today as well.
What was the message in the locker room, Javon, as you guys move forward?
No, we just got to shift our focus to conference, A-10 tournament. It's going to be win or go home at that point. And, since I've been there, I haven't been able to get past the first round. So, I'm heading in there, locked in and focused and, trying to lead these guys.
And on that point, what are you trying to do as somebody who's been through this before to get them over that hump, get you guys over that hump?
Yeah, no, I think this is a team to do it. We got guys that are bought in, and we've been playing really well, this whole month, last couple of games. So kind of keep that going on and, just kind of lead that into the tournament.
What are you going to remember about playing at the arena?
Oh, man, I got so many memories here, man. But just the fans, that's when I come here and, see all the 13,000, whatever the game is, it's just, coming in this environment, there's none other.
Shane, when you see those 4 seniors on her, is there, a lot of hope that you can help them extend their careers as long as possible here in the next couple weeks?
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to get them last home game here to win, but we got to go. We got a championship to win, so we'll win that.
Javon, they saved you for the end there, the senior day ceremony.
Yes.
That crowd, when your name was announced, what was that moment like for you?
Yeah. No, it just reminded me when I first got here, the legacy I wanted to leave here. And, it's made me think about, all the hard work, I put in and, everybody that supported me throughout the time. And, coming here, it was one of the best decisions of my life, just, the community that came in, and, just seeing me grow, and learning. It's been great.
What can you say about the value of staying in one place for so long? Just something that's so rare these days.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's something, I cherish. You don't get that a lot of places. And, this is a place I didn't want to leave, even, after every year. So, like I said, I'm grateful for this community and this university.
Javon, you know how fans are. They criticize Anthony and everything. What can you say? You two guys say about him. When you win 21 games with a team that had a lot of injuries, I mean, it goes to show this man can coach.
Yeah, no, he's a great coach. I think he's a great leader as well. He's somebody that we all look up to, and I think he's a great role model. Me being third year with him, I kind of know what to expect from him, and I say the same for the rest of the team and the rest of the coaching staff. That he's somebody that that leads and puts others first.
Yeah, I think about him. I say the same thing. He does a great job. Leading. He wants the best for each individual and as the team as a collective. And to be honest, really, like when people talk trash about him, like they usually just watch. So they don't really know him as a human being, and he's just a great guy. So
What did you think of Malcolm getting out there again, played in the last 2 games, and really contributed early?
Well, yeah, kudos to him. He came in prepared, and he made an impact right away, and we're going to need that from him moving forward.
Both of you guys now have a full week to get ready for whoever you face next on Friday. What's the mindset in terms of making sure that you have a bunch of time at your disposal in between now and then, and making sure you use that to your advantage?
I would say just focusing on us. We're not going to figure out how we're playing until Wednesday, so kind of just honing on what we got, on both sides of the ball. and then watching film from this game, obviously, but just kind of continue the momentum we have, playing the last couple games, and it starts in practice.
You guys gave some payback to St. Louis. Did you hope you do that tonight with VCU?
Yeah, we kind of got handled last time we played them, and we're coming back home. This being the last game, it was very important. A lot emotional too, just with the seniors, but yeah, we tried to pull it through. But like I said, they played great, and I think we did well, played well as well.
Javon, you lost very few games in this building.
Mhm.
Did you take an extra moment to soak it in when you were walking home?
Yeah, I mean, this is all I know. Just me being here 3 years. It's a lot. Leaving this place is gonna be hard, but like I said, I created great relationships here, and I wouldn't want to do it anywhere else.
Number of late shot clock situations. You guys don't want to get into those situations.
Yeah.
Too many times tonight. What's going on when you guys? Is that the VCU? Is it you guys? What do you think?
I mean, they're very athletic and aggressive on defense, and sometimes you can't get places we want, and that can lead to late shot clocks. But I mean, that just comes with playing together and working on offense.
You've gone back to senior day. How special was it to share that moment with Jordan, knowing him as long as you two have known each other?
Yeah, it's funny because we were talking about it the other day. Just when we were at Merrimack watching the seniors go there, and then it's a full circle moment. Coming back today, and then we're both walking on senior night together. It's surreal. I've known him for a while, and like I said, the relationship me and him are gonna have is beyond basketball.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you.
Hey, look.
Oh, I did see.
Okay. Well, take my hat off to VCU. They did a heck of a job tonight. I thought this was a heck of a battle. I'm proud of our group. You know, we came up short tonight, but our guys, just the fight and the resolve. You know, we were a possession or two away. Had some plays that didn't go our way. Give VCU credit. They made some big plays on the offensive end and the defensive end to be able to secure the win. But I thought our guys fought all the way through. The things that myself and our staff asked of our guys, they tried really hard to go out and accomplish, and we came up a little short today. And so hats off to our opponent, you know, and hopefully we'll continue to learn, continue to grow as a group and get better as we head into the postseason next week. You know, we're fortunate to be in a position where we were able to earn a double bye. And so we've got some time this week to continue to work on us, right, and figure out who we play next and try to put ourselves in the best position to survive and advance, which is, you know, what this time of year is all about. It's an exciting time.
Last game for 4 seniors, but especially Javon Bennett had a great 3 seasons here. What are you gonna miss about him?
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully we get to play a lot more basketball. You know, that's the goal. But certainly you're disappointed for him and for the group of seniors that they ended their last game in the arena not being able to come out with the win. And so we wanted that really bad for them. And I thought the guys fought really hard to try to make that happen. So there's a level of disappointment that comes with that. But I couldn't be prouder of the group of seniors. I really couldn't. I mean, for Von, what he's been a part of here for 3 years, just his heart, his fight, his character, just everything that he's been about. For 3 years, he's been a joy, to coach, and we want this to continue for a while for him. And then, for a guy like Jacob, who, is a homegrown guy, born and raised here in Dayton, and this community knows him, seen him grow up, and he's familiar with what this place means to people around here. So just really proud of him for just who he is. And, he's whatever we've asked him to do, he's done with an unselfish, just committed spirit about him. So I'm really grateful for him. And then, for 2 guys that in Jordan and Keontae that have been here for a year, man, they embraced what it means to be a Flyer, and just their character, their work ethic, their commitment, their willingness to put the team first. It's a joy as a coach to be able to see that in an era where you don't always get that, and so I couldn't be prouder of each one of them individually and then collectively as a group for the leadership. And, this team has been through a lot, and those guys have worked really hard to make sure we kept moving forward when it was bleak, and we were going through a lot of adversity, and those guys never wavered. So really grateful for that and proud of them.
Talk about something you haven't seen a lot in this era. That's also one guy staying in one place for 3 years. How has Javon Bennett's leadership grown your team over those 3 years, and how has he grown as a person?
Yeah, I think Javon's had a lot of experiences here, in terms of growing as a player. And as you mentioned, in an area where you don't always see guys that stick around. I think just the product of his familiarity with what we want to do, he's been able to show that leadership because he's been a part of a lot of winning here, right? And that builds a level of trust in terms of what his teammates know they're going to get out of him, And I would say, the same thing for a guy like Jayon, even though Jayon's, a redshirt sophomore. This is his 3rd season with us. So, Von's been, from a competitive standpoint, just to see the growth, just the different things we've asked of him, the different challenges that he's faced. Like I said, I mean, I'm really proud of him and proud of the group.
Anthony, like you said before, this group's been through a lot. 21 wins. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that says something.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this group has had, you know, I think when you look back, you know, non-conference, you know, was we had tested, you know, and they showed great fight, and then you hit a rough patch there with losses, with injuries, with just a bunch of other stuff, illnesses, just different things hitting them. But I would say, I think the word that comes to mind is just a level of resiliency, you know, just through it all, you know, not letting the highs get too high or the lows get too low, and being able to keep an even keel, you know, when, you know, there's that other stuff all around, you know, for these guys to be able to stay locked into each other. I think it's given us a chance, and, you know, like I said, we got hopefully a lot more basketball to play. You know, it's March, and I think our guys are excited about the opportunities that lie in front of us. The regular season ended today, you know, and, you know, obviously the goal and the expectation here at Dayton is you play for championships, you know, and unfortunately we came up a little short in that area this year. But I think, you know, just in terms of the fight that our guys showed, I'm grateful for that, right? And now we've got an opportunity moving forward, so we're going to focus on that opportunity. You know, this time of year, I know it's reflective for you guys, and you know, but for us, it's still moving forward, right? Like what do we got to do moving forward to put ourselves in position that we can continue to play for a long time? Right?
How did Malcolm get back on the court tonight, and what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him, you know, because it's been hard. He went he fell out of the rotation there, you know, and the group that was playing was having success, you know, and you know, it's really hard, you know, when you're young and you're talented, to be able to keep your head. And the thing we talk about is it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. He was prepared today. And I'm proud of him for making sure when the opportunity presented itself, he was ready, right? Despite, you know, the frustration and just everything else, you know, that comes with not being in that rotation, right? And so Amael picked up a couple of fouls early. You know, we went for 8 straight minutes, you know, and he picked up that second foul. And so just knowing the way how physical the game was going to be, you know, we made a decision that we wanted to hold him if we could, right? And Malcolm came in and he gave us great minutes, right? And we were able to sustain and put ourselves in a position where we didn't have to risk him picking up that third foul in the first half. Obviously, he still got foul trouble in the second half. But I thought, you know, Malcolm, just really proud of him for making sure that he stayed ready. And so that's good. That's good for us. And listen, if we can get that as we move forward, you know, I think that's only going to help our team. And I think that was a confidence booster for him and for us, you know, to see that he was ready for that opportunity.
You look at some of the late shot clock situations today.
Yeah. I mean, that's you know, listen, those guys are, you know, whatever their record is, they got great length, they got great athleticism. You know, we needed to put ourselves in a position where we were willing to have a level of stamina on the offensive end, right? And so, yeah, we got into some situations where there were late clocks. I think with 2 minutes to play, it's a one possession game. We got a chance to win the game. The goal is to win the game. That's what we play for. We're trying to win the game. However we got to do it, we're trying to win the game, period. That's all that we focus on.
Where are you placing priorities the next couple of days, knowing that you have a full week off? You don't have to turn around for a Wednesday or Thursday game.
We want to see where we can continue to get better. I'll watch the film. I think that we'll certainly have takeaways from the game tonight. You know, things that we can learn. I think for us, it's been pretty consistent. You know, we got to continue to get better on the offensive end, right? With taking care of the ball, with decision making and things like that. And then we want to continue to move the needle. Tonight, two of the keys for us was ball security. We had 8 turnovers in the first half. We left some things on the table and gave them some opportunities in transition. The second half, we had 1. We needed to do a great job of rebounding the basketball. Right? And, they ended up with 5 offensive rebounds tonight when I think the last time we played them, they had their way on the glass. So, those are things that hopefully we can learn from. We'll look at the film, we'll evaluate it. We won't play them the next time that we're on the court. I think the thing about this league is anybody can beat anybody. You look at nobody's lining up. Whoever finished at the bottom 4, nobody's saying, hey, can't wait to play Loyola. Can't wait to play Richmond. Nobody's saying that. Okay, so in this league, you got really talented players, really good coaches, and anything can happen. So, we talk about this a lot, guys. I tell you, every game has a life of its own, right? It's not like, oh, you played this way against them, and then you're playing this team, and you're supposed to know. It's different in this league, right? This is a really, really competitive league with really talented guys and really, really diverse coaches, right? Like, who else in the league plays like VCU? Right, so it's a different prep, right? And coming off playing Richmond, who else plays like them, right? Like Fordham's going to give you something completely different, right? And then St. Louis is going to give you something else, right? So just like the way you've got to prepare game in and game out, it's forces your guys, right, to have a level of maturity and understanding of how fragile winning can be.
Looked like you made a point there to say something to each guy before they either went into the handshake line or left the court. What was kind of that message that you had for the team post-game? They looked encouraged by it. It looked like they were buying what you were selling.
Yeah, I think probably just in terms of just keeping our heads up. Obviously this was it's hard when you fight like they fought today and to come up short on senior night. You know what I mean? So just probably words of encouragement.
Anthony, what are your thoughts on what's going down in Miami University this year? I mean, you got an assistant coach who played for the Red Hawks, and 6 years ago you had a season like that. Is it amazing to see what they've accomplished? I don't know if you've followed it very closely.
I haven't followed it closely. I do know they're undefeated. And they're having a heck of a season.
Yeah.
I think whatever league you're in, it's hard to win. It's hard to win. Listen, I get it. We're in an age where you got these super conferences, with 20 teams, right? And listen, if you're one of those teams that joined the conference that's got 20 teams and you're a Power 4, you didn't join that league to get less teams in. Like, I get it. Right? The business of basketball says, that's going to work in your favor. To me, it just speaks to, here we are. If a Power 4 or 5 league can get 10 teams in, you just got to do the math. Okay, there's just not a lot of room left. Like, so if you're not in a Power 4 league, you almost have to be perfect. Right? You can't have somebody get the flu or get injured for a couple weeks. Right? And there's no forgiveness for that. It's like, yeah, okay, boom. Whereas those teams, they made the rules so that those teams benefit from it, right? And so a team like Miami, they have to damn near be perfect, right? I know they're playing tonight, right? And so all it is, hey, if they're not perfect, hey, somebody else from a Power 4 or 5 league should get in ahead of them because their league is, it's like, okay, is that what we're doing? So if that's what we're doing, all right, are we really going to move this thing to 6 more teams get in? Like, who's that helping? You know, like where's to me it's a matter of, okay, what are we trying to do with this? Okay, is it just, it's an invitational tournament, right? So they get to pick whoever they want to go into it, you know, but you like to see a team like that for what they did over the course of the season against who they got a chance to play against. They're perfect, right? So why wouldn't they be given an opportunity? Is how I look at it. But the numbers are the numbers, right? It's like the math doesn't math when you got 10, 12 teams from one league, 10, 12 leagues from another league. And then you got the automatic qualifier going to the team that wins the tournament. Not the best team all year in the league, the team that wins the tournament in those type of conferences. It's just the math it just doesn't work out, right? And there's no way to cut it. So you can talk all around it, you know, but at the end of the day, it's set up for that. Like just even the talk that like VCU, if they lose today, they're not in. You kidding me? You watch those guys play this year?
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, man. Come on. Right. But I don't get a vote. I don't get to select. So
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
Coach.